Well, we tend to think of segregation as separation of the races, and in some circumstances that's the case. For example, you had black schools and white schools. You had black entrances to public buildings and white. On the railroads, you had a black car and then cars for whites. So that's the separation part. But segregation goes much further than that, because black and white were coming into contact with each other all the time. Most blacks worked for white people. They were employed by them, so they were always in contact with them. If they had to deal with the government, they were being in contact with sheriffs and justices of the peace and school board officials, etc. Segregation was part of a comprehensive system of racial inequality, not separation. This wasn't like, taking Indians and putting them off on a reservation somewhere. Black and white lived among each other all the time. So it was inequality that segregation was trying to enforce. Those black schools were not only separate, they were markedly inferior. The government didn't fund them nearly as much. The facilities were terrible. They were overcrowded. Those black railroad cars were always inferior. Any facility for blacks was always less satisfactory than those for white people. So it was part of putting blacks into a subordinate status as second-class citizens, from which it was very, very hard to get out, because the whole legal structure was meant to enforce white supremacy.